Hey guys, Ale of the Vanguard Boys here, bringing you my deck profile from what I took to BRO Online Premium Edition. Sorry for the different quality. I'm actually on vacation in Mexico visiting my family, but it was really cool that I was able to do the tournament. Now overall my record ended up being 6-3. I placed 23, so top 25, which is pretty cool. I was actually doing really well where I got 5 wins in a row, and then I kind of hit a wall by facing 3 different Bermuda decks, losing for 3 different reasons. 2 were Highlander, 1 was Riviere, and then getting my last win with Gyze. So at that point the compression was really high, but still out of over 300 people that had registered and played in 9 rounds, I'd argue it's still pretty good, and I'm pretty proud. So let's get into my deck profile here. So we'll go ahead and start off with the grade 3s. So obviously with Nociel, one of the biggest things is about putting cards with Nociel into the damage zone from your deck, and Holy Seraph Nociel is your best enabler. So she is an easy 4 of. The SPs are starting to get a lot more expensive. I've had this one for a while, and I just ordered another one for 20, but the rest are 40 and above. But still a really good card. Once you're striding, she can be your ride target because you'll get that soul, you'll get the protect marker, and then you can stride, but also works great as a rear guard, especially with your Holy Seraph stride that can, or the Nociel stride that can bounce into the damage zone and back. So super good card, super enabler, nice to see. Your initial ride target is going to be Love Sniper Nociel. Now I'm personally running at 3, and the main reason is that you have a lot of ways of just fishing this card of the deck on your ride up turn, and then this card is mostly important during your just basic grade 3 turn. After that it's just either stride fodder or ride to get a protect marker fodder to get more soul and things like that. But like, she's pretty cool because you can kind of bust one, put the top part of your deck into the damage zone, and then add a card from your damage zone to your hand, which is really nice for just toolboxing, normal Angel Feather stuff. And its important skill is that when it attacks, you soul blast 1, discard 2 cards, and you superior ride it. And then where this comes in, you get superior ride this Nociel. And then when this Nociel attacks, you soul blast 1. If you have 3 Nociels face up, you can restand a unit, and if you have 5, you can restand 2 rear guards. Now in V, while that is a pretty powerful turn, you kind of lose a lot of your resources doing that, and you kind of burn out fast, which is what makes the deck not high tier competitive in V Premium. But because in Premium you're going to be following up with striding, it's actually completely okay and a super aggressive. This deck actually has an amazing matchup against Nightmare Dolls, because when they ride down to grade 2, you're going to be making 6 pretty powerful attacks at that point, and you're already trying to put them to 2 to 3 before they even get to their grade 3 turn. So I was consistently playtesting with Noah, one of my teammates, and then I ended up playing against the Nightmare Doll in my matchups, and that's exactly what happened. They rode back down to grade 2. I stayed on grade 3, went to this Nociel, and then I superior rode, and I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 attacks, I believe. So yeah, Vanguard's rear guard swing, Vanguard swing, superior ride, Vanguard swing, and then rear guard swing. And that was enough, even without the trigger, to get them to 6, which was really cool. So yeah, super great card. And then for my grade 2 lineup, 4 Yopkels. Pretty simple. Obviously, there's what can you say about this card is one of the best toolbox cards in the entire clan. Can also get you those crit trigger checks, which especially with the restanding Nociel, if you end up hitting this while you're on your first grade 3 turn, you can have a unit that has 2 triggers or 2 crits, and then restand it using the superior ride Nociel. So that's pretty nice right there too. And then basically this is a mini Yopkael. While it does take a soul blast as well to do, you're able to take any card from your damage zone and add it to your hand that's face down, and then this will put a card with Nociel in the name. So you're going to use this 9 times out of 10 to put a Happy Bell from your deck in the damage zone, different things like that. Or let's say there's a specific Nociel you need to be in your damage zone, you might need to grab for later. Like, generally speaking, one of my early combos is I'll ride this Nociel on Vanguard Circle, and then I'll place the Love Sniper and then use Zofkael to get Love Sniper out of my damage zone, so making it super consistent, which is really nice. But the card's good late game, it's good early game, and then you could also use Love Sniper to Superior Ride Love Machine Gun Nociel instead of the grade 3 Nociel. So that way, if your opponent has like a really powerful stride, you can ride down. Like in round 1, I faced Nova Grapplers, and I know that the minute they stride, it turns on their entire win condition. So I rode back down to Love Machine Gun, and while I did take a little bit of damage, I was able to stride first, and I gained a lot of advantage over them. And their buster turn, while it was powerful, I had the hand to guard it at that point. So that was extremely nice. So that's situational to do that. Like if I go against Nightmare Dolls first, I'm probably going to ride down to grade 2, and then they're going to do the same thing. But then I'm going to go to grade 3 on the next one and do my nice Superior Ride. And then my last grade 2 that I play is Black Slice Harut. Now, unfortunately, this card is now bought out and super hard to get, but it was a $3 card up until about a month ago. But this is your multi-attack enabler besides your strides. She's pretty much, in my opinion, a staple for any Angel Feather Premium deck. But basically, if it's boosted on attack, counterblast, look at top 2 cards of your deck, put one in the damage zone, one to the bottom of your deck, and then call a face-up card from your damage zone out to the to a rear guard circle. So you can have a left attack with your left rear guard, and then boost with this one, do its skill, call another one out, and then do the same thing, attack with that column, and then you can attack with your Vanguard. And if you're using your Nociel stride, you can actually just bounce these two and then call them right back, and then just do that again as well, which helps thin out your deck and also get more multi-attacks, applying more pressure, especially with the Happy Bells into your damage zone. And then we'll go into my grade 1s. My grade 1s are kind of a little bit weird. So my only 4 of is going to be Scaling Angel. Scaling Angel, again, is one of my favorite Angel Feather units. I'm glad it got like a hollow rarity upgrade reprint. But this will refill your soul since you're using it a lot with the Nociel skills. And then, not to mention, you can use it to put like the Happy Bells from your drop that you might have used for guarding into the damage zone, which the Happy Bells give plus 5k to your front row. So really solid card. A lot of utility. You can also fish out cards you might need to use. So if you have a Gavrail in your hand and there's a card in your damage zone you might need, you can just put into your damage zone. In your drop that you need, put into your damage zone and use Gavrail to get it. So lots of utility. Also on ride, it lets you discard a card and draw a card. So let's say I would like to do is if I'm going second, I'll discard the quick shield. But if I'm going first and I have a Happy Bell in my hand, I'll discard the Happy Bell, get that in the drop, so that way I can fish it out later and then draw a card and getting cards that I might actually need to be able to use. So super good card there. And then right here is Black Hole Nakir. Use it to fish out any of your grade 3s. You have a lot of targets in the deck. Also use it to add your heal triggers too, which lets you like guard early and things like that, because while you want some damage, you don't want to be at a lot of damage. Since you can fake being at higher damage, you can still heal deny your opponent and then go down, which is really nice. It could really save you on some games. And then plus she gets the plus 5k, which makes nice big numbers and columns, especially when you get the Happy Bells. And then I played 2 of Gavrail's. It's another damage extender. I have experimented with it a little bit more, but some of the other grade 1s, I decided that I needed a little bit more. Also, her Vanguard skill isn't terrible. When you ride over it, you can swap a card from your damage with your hand. So, like, let's say you do Nociel on grade 2. You can use Nociel's skill to Soul Blast 1, Counter Blast 1, and put the Love Sniper into the damage zone, and then use her skill to swap that Love Sniper with the card in your hand. So if you don't have Gavrail, it's an easy way to get the Love Sniper. So lots of utility. And then, not to mention, after the end of your turn, she goes back to your drop after you use her skill, and then you can add a card from your damage zone that you extended back to your hand, which is really cool. So another nice little temporary damage spender. And then just to like help yourself against like these big multi-attack decks, like a lot of them, like Nova Grapplers especially, Nightmare Dolls, except Nightmare Dolls has a way to suck us up into soul. This helped me out against a lot of decks too. So like you just kind of play one of these out, and it's free too, because like it has that skill where you have to like turn a card face down in order to play it. But because of the Gavrail stride, you can do that and then basically countercharge your entire damage zone. So Hanli is pretty nice in this format. And then this is a little tech one of. I actually got this idea from another Vanguard player. I think it's MC the Healer. I'll link his Twitter in the bio. But I think it's really cool because like one thing I did find out when playing is sometimes you just see all of your Nociels in your hand, and if you used any of your heal triggers to like guard early, do the plus 10k of the Heal Guardians, play him, Soul Blast 1, reveal 3 of your Nociels in your hand, and then put the heal trigger from your drop back on top of your deck. So you're going to be guaranteed a heal trigger in your hands. That way you can continue to be able to G-guard against your opponent or whatever you might need to do. So he's a nice little one of. He's come up a couple times, so nothing that's like necessarily won me games, but it's a nice little utility card to have. So it's cool to see some overdress units make it into premium. And then lastly, before getting to triggers, I play 3 Happy Bells. Now, I know a lot of decks play 4, and they do stress the importance of 4, but I felt like due to deck compression and being able to try to fit certain units in, I wanted to have a little bit extra room to play a little bit more utility, to see a bit more consistency. So I think 3 has been perfect for me, especially the way that I play. I kind of go for more of the attack extension and the restandings, and so having just like 2 of these, in the damage zone plus Gavrail, it's plus 20k to your front row. If you manage to get all 3 of them in there, even better. Super solid card. So like, there are a few times where I'm like, man, I wish I did have a 4th one to call from deck, but usually if there's a way to get these in the drop, like, you're seeing them pretty good. So I feel like 3 is not a terrible number, but 3 to 4 is good. You just adjust the ratios of your playstyle. So we're going to go into the trigger lineup. So again, 3 heal triggers, pretty self-explanatory. Great in the early game, and then you have abilities to, you can use the Nociels to recycle them because you have to put a card at the bottom of your deck if you use the Nociel skill, the grade 3 one, and then, or you can use other cards to put in your damage zone and add them back to your hand, which is really nice. So Angel Feather is pretty lucky that they have a lot of really good defensive options, especially with their new G Guardians that they got. And then we'll go into the trigger lineup, or the criticals. So I'm playing 4 of the criticals. Main reason why is because you can fish out protect markers. Now, I may adjust some things just because, like, I know that we're going to get that new Blitz order that's a Sentinel coming out pretty soon too as well. And there might be some situations where I might want like the grade 1 PG, but I haven't messed with those ratios yet. And then next is the 4 stride crits. So 10k trigger, critical, lets you stride. So pretty good card. And then this is kind of where my deck differs from a lot of the Nociel decks that I've seen. Most people usually will play Referrals. Referrals is nice, use his skill. You can clear up some, you can countercharge in your damage zone, put some triggers from your damage zone back into the deck, and then you get to put 2 more face up, and then you get to draw a card, which is really, really nice. So, it's a reoccurring stand that keeps cycling himself. Like, he's limited for a reason, but I'm actually liking the rescue stand a lot, and this is where I'm considering bumping him up to 4, but I'm at least seeing him at 3 right now. I like to use Surgery Angel on Haroots, and then like I'll use him, put him into the deck, put him in, and then I might hit a stand trigger, and then if I call something out, I could call like a booster if I'm using the Love Sniper. Or no, sorry, not Love Sniper, the Nociel Stride. I could call out one of these from the damage zone, and it's really, really nice to just kind of keep it cycling. There's also just, if you're using Gavrail and you're doing 5 drive checks, there's a good chance you could hit a stand trigger. So this really helps with attack extension, and not to mention it's another rescue check, so it's like getting additional drive checks. So if you're already doing like 5 drive checks with Gavrail, this is like your 6th drive check. So lots of utilities. This card has won me games, definitely. I mean, especially in like the early games where like even before like the great we're striding, I've hit the stand triggers, and that's helped me put extra damage just because of the attack orders I choose to do. And with Happy Bell, the 5k actually makes a difference, because if you're getting 5 to 10k from the Happy Bell, that's just an additional 5k. It's another card from your opponent to guard with, which normally stand triggers 5k isn't the most impactful, but for this deck with the Happy Bells during your turn, it is really offensive. And then lastly, it's the Cray Elemental Over Trigger. I actually think this is way better to use than the Keter one. Main reason why is you don't want to deck out. And then 2, since you're doing multi-attacking, giving the 100 million to 2 units is really good. There are games where on like the 5 or 6 drive checks that I was doing, I hit the over trigger, gave it to the 2 rear guards that haven't attacked yet, and while they PG'd the Vanguard, because who wants to take on 5 or 6 drive checks, I still have 2 units that haven't attacked yet, or I might have roosted them with the stand trigger, and now they're hitting for both 100 million. So super good card, and then you can use it various ways to like guard. You can use it from your hand to guard. You can put it into the damage zone and use the new G Guardian to pull it out and guard with it as well. And then you can even use it, if it ends up in your damage zone, you can even use the Nociels to put it back to the bottom of your deck. And so drawing it is not even terrible. So that is pretty good. Now let's go into the G zone. We'll start off with the card I kind of really don't use, but I have it in the deck just to have it, the Progenitor Dragon. Personally, I don't think the Progenitor Dragon's skill is that great, but if you do end up feeling like you're in a situation to at least use him to get the free strides, he's there, but I would say this one's not mandatory. It's pretty okay. And then we're going to go into what's probably the best new thing to ever happen to Angel Feather, and that's Gavrail. Gavrail has such utility. It's a great toolbox card for the entire clan. It's going to be a staple for Angel Feather forever. This is exactly what the clan needed. You add power to your front row. You can add drive checks. It lets you countercharge. It bounces locked cards, bounce stun cards, whatever. Like, it's just really, really awesome. There's just so much utility to this card, and it plays around so many different things, and it really makes your opponent like scared to just like no guard because you're applying so much pressure. I mean, with the Happy Bells plus 10k and 5 drive checks, this thing is hitting 47 for 5 drive checks on its attack, and that's after you've already done 2 or 3 attacks, depending on like what kind of like rear guards, like your Harut or different things like that. It sets up your damage zone for what you might need. It could put the Happy Bells from your drop that maybe fuse them to guard or had to discard them. You could put the Happy Bells back into your damage zone. So again, that applies a lot of heavy pressure, and just there's not enough good things I guess about this card. This is easily one of my favorite cards, and it's definitely my favorite stride to go into. But I actually think that sometimes there's another stride that applies even more pressure, surprisingly, and that is the Holy Seraph Nociel stride. This lets you multi-attack for free. You attack with rear guard, attack with rear guard, then you attack with her. At the end of the battle, you bounce 2 of your rear guards, put them in the damage zone, and that's the cost, and then you call 2 out. And if you end up calling Nociels out, they gain plus 5k. So if you end up calling out your one of your grade 3 Nociels, the ones that like Soul Blast to put a card from the damage zone, you could easily use that skill once, and then if you still have soul, call it, bounce it back, and then increase your board power again. So they're going to gain 5k from their own skill. Maybe you already have a Happy Bell in the damage zone, so it's another 5k, that's 10k, and then she'll come out and get another Happy Bell from your deck out, and that's plus 15k after you've already done 1, 2, 3 attacks, which is really, really nice. So it's super, super solid. I love Holy Seraph Nociel, and if you have Harut, you get even more attacks. You can go 1, 2, or you go 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 5, 6. Or you can even bounce the Harut and the booster, and bounce them back, and then do that attack and help thin out your deck even more, increasing your chances for triggers, which is really, really nice. And then after that, this is kind of here just if you need it. If you're at a point where you need to heal, you can. Once you're at GP2, you just play it and you heal for free. You'll just flip it and you heal. I haven't used it at all, but it's nice there to have it. And then a part of your win condition is if at a certain point you've got your opponent at 5 damage and you just keep extending your damage zone. Bezazel 1 lets you extend your damage zone even further. So for example, when you're at GV3, you can't lose until you're at 7 damage, kind of like Greedon. And if you have 5 face-up cards in your G zone, because it's been a grind game, that returns to 8. And then you counterblast 4, and then whatever cards in your damage zone, your opponent can't guard for that many. So if you have 6 cards in your damage zone, your opponent has to use 6 cards to guard. And if they end up hitting a heal on this, if they hit a heal on their 6 damage, they don't heal because you're at 6 damage. So super cool card. Definitely does come up in those longer games as well. And then let's go into the G guards. I actually play a heavy G guard package because mostly your strides, the few strides that you have are more than enough. Like you can use Gavrail multiple times, go into Nociel, and then Bezazel. Those are really the only ones you need to stride into. So I like to have like a lot of utility. So you have Serial here. I have her at 3 just in case you never go into the other 2. She's always good to have. She counterblast 1, look at the top card of your deck. If you see a trigger, heal 1, take the damage. Cycle through your deck and things like that, which is really, really cool. And then it's a 15k shield on its own. So this can make or break a game, but it's a little bit random, but it's nice and it's fun. And it's just good. It's an easy one, low cost. I mean, it's free at that point as long as you have a counterblast. And then you have Elith. This is also kind of like your G-Zone enabler. Once you already have a card face up in your G-Zone, GD1, you Soul Blast 1, flip a G-Guard, and then you get 5k for every face-up card in your damage zone. So if you're at like 4 or 5, this thing gets really, really big and meaty, and it keeps flipping them up, so that way you get into Bezazel even faster. And then the newest one is Super Mobile Hospital. It requires a Counterblast 3 and Assault Blast 1, but you choose a card from your damage zone and you call it to the Guardian Circle. So it heals you, which is really, really nice. And it's a 15k shield on its own. So let's say you have one of your crit sentinels, you can call the crit sentinels, and all of a sudden you're guarding for 45 and you just healed. So super good, keeps you in the game a lot longer. You just need to have a soul, which sometimes in Nociel I burn through my soul pretty fast. So you just got to be careful, and that's why I have like the bigger G zone. But yeah, that's my deck profile. It's just kind of a quick one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I do plan on playing in V Premium. I want to take Malkuth again for BRO, but BRO has been a great experience. I was so close at one point. I was in 5th place. Basically, my matchups were Novas. I won against Novas. Spike Brothers won against them. Beat Nightmare Doll. Beat Oracle Think Tank deck. There was another deck in there I played, but first 5 rounds I won, and then I lost against Bermuda 3 times in a row, and then which all 3 of those Bermudas are in top 16, by the way, so I can at least say that. And then the last one was I beat Gyze, so yeah, it was a great experience. 23, still not bad, so I'm pretty proud. And a few of our folks from San Antonio also made basically top 30 as well, so that's pretty cool that all 3 of us played and we all did pretty well. So all right, you guys have a good one. There is a link in the description below if you'd like to get yourself some cool supplies from Pyrocon Gaming. It's our affiliate link. These markers are actually really, really nice. So as long as you're not being streamed during BRO, they help out really, really well if you didn't want to use these bigger markers and stuff. They also have card sleeves and playmats too, which is really, really nice. So just use our affiliate link and our code below and you'll get like 10% off as well. So thanks for supporting the channel, guys. You have a good one.